I remember the first time I really smelled coffee. I'm not talking about grocery coffee. I'm not talking about coffee that's just been in the cupboard for a very long time. I mean, really smelled coffee. Like the smell was just so intoxicating. It was just all rushing in your face. Years ago, it's a coffee roastery. Went inside, and immediately, right even before I went inside, the smell was just right there, just rushing into my nostrils. I knew I was addicted, but that smell, it's the first thing that we really get to do or experience with coffee. It truly, really is. And it's one of those things to where it's like, man, I can't wait to just drink my cup of coffee, to experience my cup of coffee, to see what it's going to be all about. And it was, for the most part. I'll get there, I think. I always say coffee smells better than it tastes. I don't know if that's the right terminology now. It smells similar to what it may taste like. It smells exactly like it tastes. It smells. Coffee tastes exactly like it smells. Or it just could be something that we just know that the smell is going to be there, but that doesn't really tell the whole story. And it took me years to realize this. To know, to experience coffee long enough, is that sometimes the smell disappoints us. Sometimes that coffee goes in a totally different direction. It may be a byproduct of each other, or even a prelude of what that coffee may taste like, but that's not a guarantee. I've come to this realization that the thing about smell is that although it's very important, it's critical, it's something that we can't get away from because it's just there. It's one of our senses that we have that's really cool to have, right? But when we're actually drinking our cup of coffee, even though we have so many different opportunities to really smell our cup of coffee, like initially, like what I just did just now with the dry coffee itself. But the first real introduction is the whole beans, and then we grind it, and then we put it into our preferred brewer. If we're doing pour overs, as soon as we pour that water on it, that smell, that steam just keeps coming to us. We have so many different opportunities to really see what that coffee is going to be. But a lot of times, especially me, I don't know about you, that's the question that we're really asking. How critical really is it, the smell of coffee? What does that mean to us? Is it the introduction of what we're probably going to taste? Or something that we kind of like chase a little bit? But once we actually have that sip in our mouth, we're just on to making that coffee more ideal to us in the taste. Those are some of the things that I think about all the time. And the reason why I'm thinking about it a lot is because I've been, so to speak, experiencing coffees that kind of talk to me in a different way than I'm used to. For instance, like the coffee I tried to explain earlier. That was so many different coffees, right? But whenever you do get a coffee, like let's just say that it's a classic coffee, like a Brazilian or even a Guatemalan, chocolatey, nutty notes, right? That's what you smell initially, right? But then when you grind that coffee and taste that coffee, sometimes it works that way. Sometimes you can get that chocolatey nutty taste of it, meaning that may translate into what you smell. It's been many times, especially with wet processing coffees, is that you don't really get that. It's more subtle. The taste, right? Sometimes it can just be right in your face. Excites you immediately. But do we think about that correlation between that smell of that coffee and that taste of that coffee? Those are the questions that we're really talking about here. Those are the things that I wonder if it is a big deal. Truthfully, the way I am, the way I'm sure a lot of people are, it's great that coffee smells amazing. But that's not the thing that got you out the bed. It's that taste, it's that adventure, it's that thing that you like crave and you want to enjoy as much as you want. It's like that 80%. And when I sit here and think about that, I just wonder about others, what they think about it. Is it that big of a deal or not big of a deal at all? And then we go to another coffee experience, a geisha. To me, maybe to you, maybe not. But geishas are one of the most in your face, loud in a good way, intoxicating smell of a coffee. You get jumpy, you get happy, you get like excited that you're about to experience something that's going to be extremely magical. And it's not. It's not. And it's so fucking expensive too. I wonder if that clouds my judgment too. But to me, it doesn't really taste like something that it represented to me in that smell. It's something that about it just doesn't do it for me. Most of them, that's the way that it is. I try to get down with them. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to get my excitement of that coffee and that smell and not from the taste, I tend to not give a shit about that coffee. I'll probably enjoy it for 1 or 2 cups and I'm good to go. Now that I'm thinking about it, probably smell does have a bigger play into this whole thing. Probably because that sensory of it being what it is and then tasting it afterwards. You kind of don't really want to play that same type of game. Because it's not honest, right? And I think that's where it comes down to. Honesty. Transparency. If you are what you are from the beginning all the way to the end, right? But I know it's not that simple. We're people. We live. Life is not as black and white as we may seem it to be. We stay in that gray area. Just like we do that with coffee. So objective, so subjective, that we kind of just realize that we get there is that it is what it is. Same thing with coffee. In my last experience, that kind of was very trippy, and it still really is co-ferments. It's a manufactured coffee to taste the way that you put stuff on, right? Coffee can taste that way. But a lot of times, when you smell something and when you actually drink it, it's not all the way there, as I explained already. But that co-ferment, damn that co-ferment, you smell that intensity. In my case, peach, green apple. Doesn't matter which way you brew it, from whole beans to dry to wet, the intensity just keeps coming. It's just like ready for you. It's like, okay, I'm going to give you the best experience ever and ever and ever. And then when you drink it, you're shocked because it's exactly like you smelled it. Exactly like you smelled it. And then you just sit there and you wonder that you got the experience that you wanted. You got exactly the thing that that smell was going to give you. And now you're sitting here like, I don't know about that. That was cool for a couple of brews, but I want that coffee to lie to me to an extent. I guess really what I'm saying here is that how much do we really care about smell? Does it help paint and tell the story of that coffee? Or is just something to, just to get behind? Because at the end of the day, we're drinking coffee. That's the majority of our experience. It's about that taste. It's about that adventure that we're going to go on. And I think, at least for me, that smell is just icing on top of the cake. It's just something that's there to help out my experience. And at times I forget that it's there. So I stop smelling. So I guess what I'm saying is that enjoy all the senses that you'll get from coffee. See it for what it is. See what you can do with it, right? But do realize that smell is a critical part about just how coffee smells, because for the most part, no coffee really smells bad, right? But yeah, I'm about that taste. I'm sure you are. Let's talk about it. Talk to you later. Bye.